Hey everyone, welcome back. I am Miss Serious and this is another Speedbuild video. Today we are doing a French style country home that I found just randomly on the internet. It's super cute and will actually house an entire family of 8 Sims, believe it or not. It is not that big of a home, but it is definitely on the more like rustic side where it's gonna look a little older on the inside. It's not really renovated. Looks like a home that might have been in the family for some time. So yeah, this is definitely gonna be different from the last of the builds. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. You might notice that this video is sped up much faster than the other ones. I do apologize. This took me about 3.5 hours to build when normally something like this would take an hour, hour and a half. I wasn't feeling the best the day that I built this, so bear with me in this super sped up video. But I wanted to make sure that I wasn't keeping you here all day looking at this build. So it's actually pretty simple, not a whole lot going on in the photo, which I'll put back up here in just a sec. But yeah, I actually ended up having pretty much everything to make this build look almost exactly like the picture. The roofing was definitely the hardest part. You could see I was doing a couple of weird things there to get all of the sizing correct. These windows, we didn't exactly have what I was looking for, but I found, what I think matched the best. And not a whole lot of landscaping going on in this build either, so I actually ended up doing it at the end rather than the beginning of the video. So that's why you haven't seen any of that yet. But don't worry, I did not forget to do it. But yeah, so we're actually going to be wrapping up the outside of this build in just a moment. You will notice I kind of did the little fake chimney trick with the walls. I tried to use one of the actual chimneys from the game and it wasn't the right color. It didn't look the way I wanted it to. The chimney kind of had a curve to it, which you can't get with our walls, so I had to kind of be creative with that one. So now we're going on to the inside. The upstairs is actually a lot smaller than it looks like it's going to be, and that's because where I just made that wall, the whole other side of that, the roof is glitched and it would not let me build a proper room. So I didn't want to build a room that would be difficult to play in or have weather happening in it. So I just went ahead and cut it off. So unfortunately that's a lot of missed space. But I feel like the layout that I did, you can still fit a lot of Sims in here pretty comfortably and it should be just fine. So this ends up being 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath. And it's actually, I went for a closed concept this time instead of open floor design, and did it very old school houses. Every room is separated. You have your entranceway where you would sit in the dining room separated from the kitchen. There's no breakfast nook in the kitchen. It's just for cooking. It's got a nice view of the backyard with the little windows. Yeah, so very different from my last builds, and the bedrooms are a little tight upstairs, but I figure, these older houses, they didn't have bigger rooms. If you go and look at houses that aren't new builds these days, ones from 1800s, you're not going to see these massive bedrooms. Their purpose was just a room for your bed. Nothing else really. So that's kind of what I went for this time. And like I've said in my previous videos, I like to keep the Sims downstairs. If I'm building a multi-floor house, it takes too long, especially if you have a toddler, which there is space for a toddler in this house, which you'll see in a little bit. You don't want them going up and down those stairs. It's going to wreck your gameplay. It's going to take forever, and it's going to be really annoying at the end of the day. So as you can see, I did a little entrance room. You got your umbrellas, you got your coat racks, and then a nice little kind of straight into the backyard door right there. I actually really like how that worked out. It was perfectly center. So you got your bookshelves in here, nice, like separating the family living space from like the eating space. So there's a whole different thing going on in this house. Oh, you can see this dining room actually looks like it's really big at first, but once I add everything in here, it's going to be pretty tight. This definitely isn't the kind of house that you would be throwing huge parties for a lot of people in. Like, this is a family home. This is just like a nice little cute, you've got like 5 kids style to live in. The lot I used was in Windenburg again, and it's across from the big house. The lot's called the Summer Home. And I know that this neighborhood is a little annoying to live in because you have to walk so far to get off of like the neighborhood lot to travel. So I did put a bike in the backyard, and I would suggest if you do have multiple Sims that you want going places, I would definitely add the bikes that I know are included in base game now, because it takes too long to get out of this area. If you have this world, you know what I mean. So yeah, you can see I'm working on the kitchen now, and it actually ended up being a pretty nice space. It ended up being like really symmetrical. I didn't go too crazy on the clutter on the counters because I wanted to make sure that there was enough space, because you know that your Sims love to cook, and you know that anytime any other Sim is on your lot, they're going to come over and they're going to bake a cake. So I wanted to make sure there was plenty of counter space for all of that shenanigans to happen. And yeah, you'll notice that the tile that I went with is actually like the worn out linoleum, because I wanted this house to feel like it was old and definitely like lived in, like people have lived here for a long time, but it's still nice. It's a really nice upkept house. So that's what I was going for here, just keeping it old school, and the colors, the wallpaper and paneling, and the tile in the kitchen, like the old looking tile in the bathroom. I don't know. I suppose the sink is probably the newest thing, but if you own a home, you know that the bathroom's probably going to be the first place that you're going to be fixing something up. So yeah, this is the guest bath, so it's just a half bath if there are any other Sims over, so they don't have to go upstairs, they don't have to go through your bedroom and just be all over the place. I really wanted to put an actual fireplace where the chimney was, but I cut out the footage of me struggling with the staircase. I could not figure out where I wanted it to be going up to the second floor because of how tight the second floor is. The layout, I probably spent at least 45 minutes on the layout upstairs alone, just trying to figure out the best way to make use of that space because of the glitched roof. And that was the only thing that made sense. So unfortunately, this house does not have a fireplace like you would expect. I suppose you could put one next to where the single chair is in the living room, but I don't know. I figured it was fine. Maybe something happened and they closed off the chimney. That's what I'm going with. So you can see I put in a computer because, like I've said before, it is definitely necessary to have in your home. And these people aren't living in the past. They just live in an old home, you know. They've got stuff. It's nice. So now I'm working on the master bedroom, which is actually huge. I didn't anticipate for the room to come out like this large, but it did. But I really like the way it came out. Like, this could almost like be a generation's home with how big this room is. Like, honestly, you could redo the upstairs a little bit and make it where, you know, one of the kids is raising their children and the grandparents could live down here, because this is its own living space, really. So here's the house again in the top left. So you can see I'm working in the room in the very left with all the windows. It's such a nice, like, lit space. I really like the way that this came out. I didn't like really anticipate it. You know, I didn't have a photo of the backside of the house, so you don't really know how big it is. You don't know how far it goes. The only reason there's that little nook where I just put the chairs in that room is for roofing purposes, honestly. So I really like this. It came together, and I went ahead and put a chessboard in here because there was space for it, and I thought, you know, why not? You always need those little skill things in the house for your Sims to have. So, you know, just a few pieces of artwork here and there, little knitting thing, why not? Throw up a little easel, you got all your stuff, you know. So now you can see the upstairs with the smaller bedrooms and the bathroom. There wasn't a lot of space in the hallway, so the bonsai tree is the only thing I put. Why did I put a bonsai tree? I don't know. I thought, why not? You know, it's a little plant that you can actually interact with. You can gain a skill with that plant. So to me, it made sense. Sometimes there doesn't have to be a reason for madness, right? But yeah, this bathroom, I wanted to have a bath and shower in it, but the space just really did not permit it. So you can see I did the bunk bed with a double bed underneath. So for me, it doesn't work every time, but you can have your Sims scooch over. So you can have 3 Sims sleeping in this bedroom. It is possible. Is it gonna happen every time? Honestly, I don't know. But it's worth a shot. Because there wasn't a ton of space, so... I mean, you could swap it out for another single bed and put a desk in there if you wanted to have, like, more space. But I liked the idea of Sims actually using the dining table. So, honestly, like, that is my most exciting, like, thought for playing in this house for gameplay. Is to move my Sims in, and when you cook that like holiday meal with seasons, you know, and you call everyone to the meal, that they'll actually sit at the dining table together because there's nowhere else for them to go. And if they do walk all the way to the living room, or they walk all the way to those like chess tables, like the chairs there, oh my gosh, that will just kill my heart and my soul. So hopefully they actually use the dining table. You see I added one more chair because of how many beds I put upstairs. But yeah, that's goals right there. Them using the dining table. But now we're working on the outside. This, like I said before, had really pretty simple landscaping. There's a driveway. I didn't put a car this time. There's no door, because that's where the dining room is, so there's no like actual entranceway from that little like, oh, what's it called, like carpool thing, the little canopy. But yeah, so I just tossed in a couple of trees because there wasn't very much happening in the photo, so I just kind of kept it simple. Outside, I wanted to make sure that there were a few options. I know the grill is so frustrating, and all they want to do is everyone wants to cook on the grill, but I put one anyways because there's, you know, this is a family house. I can definitely see gameplay spending a lot of time in this backyard. Like, it's not very big. The lot is kind of odd. You know, like it looks like there's a lot of space in the backyard, but the lot ends right there, so you can't really put anything else back there. Doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, so I put stuff for kids out there. I put, you know, the picnic table, so I suppose that it's possible that they would go and sit at the picnic table instead of the dinner table. It is what it is. Maybe lock the door when it's dinner time, who knows. But yeah, just adding a little bit of color, finishing up with little details on the outside. Gonna pop the photo back up for you. Don't forget to let me know in the comments how you think I did, if you think it looks like the photo, if you think that the upstairs is terrible and it's not gonna work. If you like the idea, you can download this house. It's going to be on the gallery. My gallery name is Mysterious as well. So yeah, if you like it, give it a thumbs up. Give me a subscribe. I'll be posting videos every week. And there it is. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Bye everyone.